hello. It's sad boy hours. Men/women of Reddit who went out to buy cigarettes/milk and never came back. Do you ever think about the family you left behind? Do you send them money or regret leaving? What made you go? When I was 15 years old, I gathered a small amount of my personal belongings and snuck out of the house at 2 AM. I never came back. I lived with my mother and my 3 sisters at the time, and my life was terrible. My mother was a psycho and a misandrist, and would regularly berate me and abuse me because I was male and resembled my dad, who left when I was 10. My sisters were mindless and merciless, and followed relentlessly in her stead. They would hit me, and if I ever so much as raised an arm in self-defense they called me a misogynist and threatened to call the police. My mother also had an idiot and drunkard of a boyfriend who was 10 years younger than her and would regularly walk around the house in front of my sisters and I with no clothing on and smoke marijuana in our front yard. For the longest time I felt like a prisoner in my own home, tormented by the ones that were supposed to love me. My only friend was my faithful dog, who I loved more than anything else. My mother's boyfriend fed him lamb bones, which punctured his stomach and caused him to slowly die over the course of a week as they refused to take him to the vet. With my dog dead, I decided that it was time for me to take my life into my own hands. I used the internet to track down my father, and one night while my mother was asleep I just walked right out of the house and never came back. I walked 5 miles to a bus stop, waited for the bus, and took it across the state to my dad's town. I called him and told him of my situation. Turns out, he was a very successful businessman with a new family and he took me in immediately. He signed me up for a great private school and gave me the kind of loving parenting that I had deserved. My mother tried to press criminal charges when she found out what had happened, accusing him of theft, but the case died when she ran out of money to pay court fees. I don't imagine most people were expecting a person as young as myself to respond to this topic. But that's my story and I thought I'd share. My mother went on a trip when I was 7. I remember asking my dad often when she was coming back. She got back in touch a few years after that, but it still hurt having to learn that she lied to me. I still don't have many good feelings about her. It's probably because I never really knew how to trust her after that. She still believes that she can have a big say in my life even after she left, even though she never helps my father with any bills. Why did she leave? I learned later she was cheating on my father, and when she was found out she left to avoid the embarrassment. Everyone in my family told me that my father was a really awesome guy except for when he was drinking. Unfortunately, he drank a lot. When I was 18 months, he went on a 4-day bender. Just gone, getting piss drunk, skipping work, probably fricking bra flies and homewreckers. My mom, as she did all the times previously, drove around town looking for him, called his usual spots and his friends. Either nobody saw him or nobody fessed up. Bros before hoes. After 4 days, he comes home at about 3 or 4 in the morning. We lived in a trailer park, so I guess all the homes look the same. So he's frigged up, and he thinks the house across the street is his/our house, and not actually the house across the street. So he tries the door. Key doesn't work. Figures my mom changed the lock. Gets pissed off and starts pounding on the door screaming, "Open up the freaking door, you biznatch, I'll smack the crap out of you, blah blah blah," and so on. So, the nice old lady who lived across the street wakes up in a panic and obviously calls the cops. So my mom woke up just in time to see my father get arrested. Where'd my husband go? Ah, there he is. So mom says frig it all, and moves back to her hometown. Takes me with her. Files a restraining order. Files divorce. He calls back and wants to rekindle the relationship. Baby, he changed. He was a new man now. He learned his lesson. Mom wasn't having it. She said a boy needs a father in his life and tried to set up visitation, support enforcement, set up bills. So dad was like, well, frig this, and moved back up to Alaska where he came from. I never heard a peep from him while I was growing up. We kept trying to reach out. He owed a crap load of child support, and I kept being a whiny mopey preteen. Why did my daddy run away? Why don't you find him? So mom even got as far as hiring a private investigator, who was able to track down lots of previous addresses, but apparently dad was getting lots and lots of women pregnant, so he'd become sort of a master at dodging friggers. He dodged the state cops and support enforcement easily enough. Private eyes from out of town were even easier. By the time I was a teenager, we'd get intermittent support checks. He'd get a job, hold it for just long enough for it to register in the system, and we'd get a support check. Usually $10 to $30 or so. My mom and I called them cheeseburger checks. Because what the frig are you supposed to do with $30? So we'd buy epic cheeseburgers and fries and milkshakes. It was like our tradition. Whenever we'd get a random support check, we'd blow it on epic cheeseburgers. So anyway, I turn 18 and I have a fairly nice birthday celebration with mom and sis. Then I'm like, well, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, and proceeded to just dip out and go skate all day and get hella drunk and stoned. Because friggy world, I'm a grown up now. First time I never checked in with my mom, and it was great. Anyway, dad apparently knew where to find me and he called while I was out. So my mom is like, are you freaking kidding me? I guess he thought since I was 18 he couldn't get charged with back support. So he's like, I need to know how my boy's doing or whatever. Mom takes his number down. Next day I'm having breakfast and mom's like, well, your father called and I took his number down. Here it is. You do with it what you want to. So all day I'm like, frig, should I call him or not? Should I call him or not? Finally, I decide to man up and call him. Learn who the frig he is. Maybe give him a piece of my mind. Ring ring. 4-year-old girl.
Hello?
Me. Hi, is Pete there? 4-year-old girl.
No, he goes to jail.
Commotion in the background. Some woman saying don't say that kind of stuff. Give me the phone. Get to your room right now. She picks up the phone. Lady, hello? Me. Yay. I'm trying to get a hold of Pete. Lady. Pete can't come to the phone right now. Me. Lol, yay. I guess not. Was kind of a wiener at 18. Still am, I guess. Lady. All huffy and annoyed. Well. Who is this? Me. More cheerful. Well. This is his son. Who's this? Lady. Perturbed. Pete doesn't have a son. So that one was a gut punch. That one actually hurt a bit. But then while I'm processing what to say next, I can hear her crying on the other end of the line. Frig, you got a 4-year-old. The father's in jail. Crap has hit the fan. And now you find out about his pseudo bastard child from 18 years ago that he hid from you. I felt like a real wiener. Not just a haha so edgy wiener, but a true and uncool wiener. So I just said, look, I'm really sorry I called. I'm gonna go now. And I hung up. He called back a few weeks later. By then I was in college doing college crap. He told my mom he was on a secret agent mission or something. My mom said, we heard you were in jail. And he said that was part of his cover. Lol. This was all way before the internet because I'm friggin' old. But with the advent of the internet, I've been able to Google him. He ran for Lieutenant Governor of Alaska against Sarah Palin's campaign and got his ass beat hard. He also won a Darwin Award for trying to take an inflatable raft out into the Bering Sea with nothing but a jacket, binoculars, bird guide and farmer's almanac. A bunch of people saw some guy in a rubber raft floating out into one of the world's coldest oceans and called 911. Coast Guard had to save him. He was super pissed off about the rescue and kept showing the farmer's almanac, which proved the tide would bring him back. So they ran a check on him and he had a warrant. So he was arrested. Lol. So, that happened. The reason I'm sharing all this isn't some pity party woe is me bullcrap. I'm happily married to a fantastic woman, with a couple of great boys. I have a great job, a wide circle of good friends, and I'm usually a genuinely happy person. This is all in spite of having a father who abandoned me. My point in telling all this is, trying to get to the bottom of why someone left just leads to more heartache and more stupid but burning questions. If you have a mother/father who abandoned you, they abandoned you because they're a friggin' wiener, and selfish, and a friggin' loser. That's all. It's easy. You don't need to get inside their mind to hear how they rationalize it, or to attempt to make sense of it. There's no deeper meaning or sense to be made. They're just friggin' selfish. You're probably better off without them. Thank you for watching. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon through the link in the description. If the video slapped, be sure to hit that thumbs up, and subscribe for videos every single day. See you tomorrow.